What's up everybody, this is Marty O'Neill with Drastic Graphics, and this is how to close deals as a graphic artist. So right now I'm really speaking to all freelancers, all aspiring professional creatives out there, design students, and even people that have maybe been out there doing it for a long time. I've been a professional graphic artist technically since 2009, but my freelancing days started in 2004 and 2005. Before I had any sort of vision for myself as being a professional artist or having a career or anything of that nature. And I just wanted to put this video together now because I realize in my own life, I've gone through so many different levels of this. You know, what made me so many professional artists or aspiring artists, they kind of set out for at the very beginning of it. I feel like I'm lucky enough to actually have attained so much and gone so far with it that I just want to give back and give some knowledge to the people coming up along the way that I wish I would have had, because it's hard to understand your own worth and your own value and things like how to charge clients, how to go get clients, how to close deals. These are things that take years to really wrap your mind around. So if I can provide some sort of affirmation on things that I've done that worked for me, maybe it can save you guys a bunch of time. So that's what this is. Drastic Graphics, how to close deals as a graphic artist. Now, since 2004, 2005, I was a recording artist. Drastic Graphics was going along, coinciding with me being a recording artist to essentially trade people for things and get what I needed without spending money for studio time and production, and just kind of allowing me to connect dots. And really the whole goal was to move out of Buffalo to Southern California. So the fact that we were able to make that happen seemed impossible from the start. And then once we got out here, I just realized how much value was in not necessarily being the star of the show, but being able to add value behind the scenes to people that were the star of the show. And you know, as it started to kind of unravel, I just started to see this whole lane emerging for myself within the comedy and the podcast industry, which in a lot of ways is a direct parallel to the music industry. So for me, I had to realize that my real muscle and my real talent isn't just in front of a microphone, but it spans wide across a whole array of digital media and different things that I'm really passionate about. And we were able to make the move to Orange County and start, and once I got here, I realized that and really slammed my foot down with Drastic Graphics because I was given an amazing opportunity to get on the ground floor of some huge podcasts. And I took years in getting my degree and really just grinding it out, not getting paid, not getting recognition, but just doing the work and building up my reputation and building up my name. And that's gonna be some of the things that I really touch on. So this is for anybody who's aspiring to be a professional artist, be it a student, a graphic designer, logo designer, photographer, videographer, apparel designer. This comes across audio engineer. This comes across in so many different ways. People really that start off as artistic freelancers and are seeking to push forward in a career doing that. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and now I guess on YouTube and things of that nature, there's people to look up to, but at least for me, it was kind of the unknown, and I was just basically going off of faith the whole time. Luckily, I ended up here in a place that, you know, sometimes you don't even know what the finish line looks like even until you get there and you look around like, damn, I made it. Like we're supporting our family through this business. I'm doing what I want throughout the day consistently. It's not a fluke, like it's something solid. I just feel like it's so rare that I just want to let people know that it's possible. And for me, it started off literally on Craigslist. When I first started freelancing graphics, flyers, logos, and I do air quotes because I didn't even have my mind wrapped around Illustrator. I was doing logos out of Photoshop for a while. Just different little Craigslist style projects that you find, even just in Buffalo. But I made a list of all the cities in America, and throughout the day I would go into all these different cities and respond to ads and post my own ads and make all these different email accounts so that I could have all these different Craigslist accounts and just be posting ads. And I literally did that for years. And that was my ground floor of starting to build up my portfolio. And that's where everybody basically starts off. There's gonna be the 1%ers that are just sensations and they post a couple things on Instagram and bam. But for most people, this is a marathon. So the first couple of years, you're out there just trying to grind up work. And one of the main keys that I'm gonna highlight throughout this whole thing is that Entrepreneurship and the ability to develop relationships and connect dots between people is more valuable, in my experience, than actual artistic talent. You need to have certain skills and you need to be really educated and versed in things, but it's really the ability to go out and be an entrepreneur and be business-minded, in my experience, that has allowed me to flourish, because I know for sure there's people that are way more talented than me. But I feel like I might be more strategic. I might be better at going out and weaving a web amongst people and just kind of figuring out like a long-term plan. It didn't happen overnight. It might seem like it, I don't know, but literally it's well over 10 years in the making, this whole situation. So anyway, we all essentially started off on that ground floor of being desperate for work, but building up our portfolio. So we just want to be deliberate in knowing that there is some sort of game plan, and we want to be setting milestones to make sure you don't stay in that first phase of just building up your portfolio forever, because that can definitely happen. You want to make sure that you're hitting certain milestones, and if you're not, every time you look around and realize that you're not hitting a real milestone within the development of your career every 6 to 12 months, you need to add on a new skill set. That's what I've always found. It never hurts to learn something new and to add it into the repertoire, because there's so many different things that comprise digital media, from graphic design to branding to photography to videography to all the different little aspects that fall within those different categories. Like, for me, I kind of feel like I'm a jack of all trades. I'm kind of a B+ in a lot of different things. And there's some people that are just an A+ in one or two things, and certain percentage of those people can ride it out and have amazing careers. But in my experience, you want to be really well versed and have a background in a multitude of different things that comprise digital media. So building up your portfolio, building up your credentials, building up your ability to deal with people in a way that is business-minded, in the sense that you're going out fielding inquiries, being able to answer their questions preemptively. That's my whole thing. In web design or in marketing, the person that we're trying to reach has questions. We want to be answering those questions preemptively with the information that we're leading with the tip of the spear, whatever that may be, to try to make them feel comfortable hiring us. We want to come off as professional as possible. So a couple of these things that I'm going to touch on here really help that. And I've only found through experience and doing it a bunch of times. Just a little bit more background in my experience. After the whole chapter of my life of freelancing and going after every different project I could basically get, whoever was willing to pay me, I would figure out what they needed done and get it done, and was doing it while working a full-time job and raising kids and getting a degree and all that other stuff. When I moved to California was when I really got immersed in heavy-duty, real-life work that actually meant something to me, because I was a huge podcast fan, a huge comedy fan. So when I got in with The Fighter and the Kid and with Theo Vaughn and Rogan really early on, it really meant something to me. It was something I'm passionate about. So that's something that I would encourage you, because it's gonna make your efforts mean more as an artist. If whatever niche or little particular thing, be it athletics, yoga, fitness, holisticness, MMA, I don't know, there's a trillion different little areas and niches, but you really want to identify what resonates with you, and then try to weave a web through that community. After that phase of building up your initial portfolio, you want to start going after people that have big followings and are professionals in that area, in that industry that you're really passionate about, because you're swinging for best case scenario. Best case scenario is full-time you get to do and be immersed in what you're really passionate about. You get paid a lot of money for it. So that's the trajectory you want to set yourself off on. So for me, I didn't really realize it. I love comedy, don't get me wrong. I did realize it. I was a huge Rogan fan. I was a huge fan of all these dudes. I was a huge hip hop head too. I was so deep in hip hop, I really had to realize and take a moment for me to be like, this whole music thing is just, I need to let this whole aspect go of myself and really just commit myself to this opportunity that I see in podcasting and comedy, because I can just tell in my gut that I just put that whole aspect of myself on hold, slammed down on Drastic Graphics full time, and just, it paid off. And that's just my experience. So you build up your credentials, you build up your portfolio, and in doing so, you're building up your worth. You're building up, for me, it was really valuable dealing with a bunch of random people and a bunch of different scenarios and different industries all over the world. You get everything on Craigslist and Facebook. But the goal is to get with people that are making waves and making a big splash. For me, episodes and live shows and all these graphics, they really could utilize what I was really good at. And then that was another chapter in my career. And that was a couple years of just really, literally all-nighters for like years, grinding it out, really just earning my reputation. And you might think like, oh, like this dude works with a lot of celebrities. You know, back early on in my career, people might have been looking at me like, how do you get in with all these people? But still, I wasn't paid. I was still just barely getting by, and it's super expensive to live out here. So like, it wasn't, you know, people on Instagram, they may make it look a certain way, but people are paying their dues. And just because you work for celebrities doesn't mean you're rich, for sure. A lot of people I know in this industry, they work with really notable names, and a lot of celebrities basically want you to work for free anyway, or expect you to. I mean, not saying the ones necessarily that I work for do, but still, there comes with a lot of entitlement when you're dealing with big name people, so you gotta know how to handle that too. So anyway, you've built up your credentials, you've built up your portfolio, you've gotten immersed a little bit, then you go out and now you're actively engaged in a particular niche, in a particular industry, be it a videographer, be it a photographer. You're starting to dial in on where your real kind of style is and what your real skill set is. For me, also, one of the big things that I really feel like sets me apart is my professionalism and taking control of the situation when I start dealing with a new client. I wrap my mind around what it is that they need, but then I bring it into my terms every time the same way. And what that means is, okay, let's get on the phone or via email, whatever it's gonna be. Let me really give you the upfront time of that conversation and that consultation, all my genuine thoughts. I'm not holding back anything. I'm wrapping my mind around how I can really add value for what you have going on. And then it's the proposal that you follow up with right off the bat. Bam, a really clean 1, 2, maybe 3-page proposal, a cover letter with your logo, their name, you know, and then just really clean what the project's proposing, what they're going to get, when they're going to get it, the turnaround times, the revisions, how much it's going to cost, if there's going to be options associated with that, and then how they can pay, and then if they have any questions to let you know. That's how I always lay out all my proposals, and I feel like just leading with that. I've gone up against a million graphic designers in a million scenarios, and just the professionalism of leading with a really clean PDF. Hey, I took the time to write this. This wasn't fast. And I broke down all of your needs here and where we can come in with different options. You give them that PDF to review. That right there in and of itself is a game changer for a lot of people. Like, wow, he took the time to do this. This looks super clean and professional. Of the other 10 people I spoke with who just responded an email, a number, he led with what value he was providing and then finished off with what the compensation was, how long it was gonna take. Super professional. And then from there, as far as actually setting up the payment, for me, there's a lot of different ways, and especially in how much you're gonna charge and for what. I think about things on a project by project basis, based on the client. So for me, I don't put any pricing out online or anywhere because I don't want any frame of reference for people to come back and be able to make reference to any sort of pricing, because I'm deeming it on a case-by-case basis. If I get approached by some huge company, the overall value of the project that I'm giving them is worth more than if I'm dealing with some mom and pop shop cafe in some random small town that needs a branding package or a logo or something. So I'm evaluating who I'm dealing with, how valuable the services are that I'm offering to them. I'm valuing all those hours that I've put in, and that's why I never charge by an hourly rate 99% of the time, because it's like, if I'm really good at what I'm doing, I might be fast at it. I might spend 75% of the time researching something, 25% of the overall time actually executing the design solution to that research. It's because I'm super experienced at it. So I'm not gonna shortchange myself and not charge a lot or have some astronomical hourly rate or whatever. That makes things very tricky and turns people off. So the key to this all is in the professionalism of having essentially policies for your own business. This is how we do things. I'm flexible to a certain point, but you're coming to me like as if you were coming to somebody to build your house. So you want me to have things in place to give you structure and to let you know I know what I'm doing. And furthermore, I'm tailoring it around what you need. So that would be really my big gift to you guys out there, aspiring professional artists and students. Really take that super seriously. Be it even just your own custom email address, marty@drastic-graphics.com. Super professional, so you can see that I'm tied to my website and my email, so when I'm emailing you, there's no suspicion of anything. A lot of people are dealing with a stranger too online. When you're fielding inquiries off Google and off Facebook, there's a lot of anonymity, so you want to make people feel super comfortable. The proposal, bam, hey, yes, I'm excited, you've made me feel comfortable, I want to move forward with this. What now? Beautiful. For me, I love QuickBooks Online because I can email somebody an invoice that they can just pay on. And I can set up recurring payments. And that's the next big thing that I really want to touch on, because you can be in hustle mode forever. You can go out and be finding business and taking on projects and taking money every which way, and that can go great, and that can be its own thing. But the real power is in developing long-term recurring clients. So for me, it was finding what industry I could get involved in that I'm really passionate about, and then wrapping my mind around a way that I could add recurring value to people over long periods of time. And it started off with them hiring me for t-shirt designs. And then it turned into episode graphics. And it was a challenge because it's like, hey, we're gonna record this Monday, it's coming out Tuesday morning. We need a graphic that's about the episode, essentially same day, that's gonna be ready for the morning, that's gonna go out in front of 1 million people, and we need it to be a cartoon. And I had never done cartoons before. So that's like an immense amount of pressure, but for me, that kind of trial by fire, I really thrived under. I had gone through so much in the music business that I already understood how rare opportunity was, and if they were gonna give it to me, there wasn't gonna be anything that was gonna stand in my way of not being able to really capitalize on it. So my advice in that regard is, you wanna push yourself to always be open to learning new skills and new things that add value to your clients. Be it, for me, web design, targeted advertising, videography, photography. It wasn't enough for me to just be a graphic designer or a logo designer or a t-shirt designer. Every year I committed myself to learning something more, and I really feel like that's what, after 4, 5, 6, 7 years of my clients seeing me do that, now it's just like a given, like we need this dude around. He's always coming up with new ways to figure out things for us, because I'm really intentional about it. The learning never stops. Like, you get that first degree, it's cool, you go out. The experience is really what matters, and getting your name up, and even beyond your name, a brand. For me, the whole time I had been operating as Drastic Graphics, and I just feel like that was a blessing, because now it's something that I can build a team around, and it can extend into, executive producer roles, and it's just a real business, and it's something that I've been representing this whole time. So just to kind of reiterate what we're saying here, to all the freelancers out there starting off at $50, $75 projects, trading people, PayPaling, Venmoing, all these different things, that's fine. That's going to be a chapter of your career, but don't let it define your whole career. What we're moving towards is recurring clients, and let that be the second chapter of your year. Okay, now I have 3 or 4 clients that I've pooled that are kind of my favorite clients from my couple years of getting out there and really taking everything I could, and now they pay me every month. And they're paying me every month for a couple years, and while they're doing that, I'm learning new skills. And then after a while, as a professional artist, at least in my opinion, the next level of that is owning the projects that you're a part of. And there's a lot of different ways that can kind of go about, taking equity in things, or just taking perpetual participation in the revenue derived by certain projects that you're involved in is to me, the real finish line, where it's like, okay, now I am beyond years of having just experience in the things that I'm really passionate about. I'm a seasoned veteran across a lot of different aspects of digital media, but now I'm actually owning things in collaboration with my clients, so that now my efforts are really going towards something, because the harder I push, the more I get back, because I own it. That should be the real ultimate goal for the aspiring freelancer and student, to me. Own your business, be able to put on and help out other aspiring professional artists, and then own what you're working on and get out there and collaborate with people and stand on your own. And really, if you can put yourself in a position to be spending your time on what you're passionate in and being immersed in what's your greatest skill set as an artist, that is the finish line. So it's in your professionalism and how you present yourself and the policies that you have kind of set forth for yourself as a business to give structure to your potential client. This is what your options are. This is how long it's going to take. This is what's going to happen if we go beyond that. These are the other things that I offer. You want to be having that kind of service attitude towards people as you're dealing with them. That's going to put them at ease and make them feel comfortable with paying you, in most cases, up front. That's the other thing about at least Drastic Graphics. 99.9% of the projects that we take on, we take payment only up front. And that's because that's a policy that I set forth early on, because I found that only taking half payment up front or doing the work up front and trying to get the money later, it only ruins the relationship. Even for a great client, even for somebody who's not trying to play around with the payment, it always ends up getting funny. So I'll have maybe a little bit of flexibility on certain things, but generally, unless it's a huge project for Drastic Graphics, the payment has to be made in full up front, and that just is what it is. For our projects, our side projects that we take on, the payments do have to be made in full up front. We do it right through QuickBooks, ACH, credit card, debit card, Apple, Venmo, whatever it's gonna be. Make your payment, you get your automatic receipt. I thank you for it, thank you for your business. And then it's right on to the whole onboarding process. Whatever questions that I might need from you, whatever assets or references that I might need from you, and that kicks off the whole timeline of things. And that first project, that first sample, the first thing you do for that client is the most important thing you're gonna do for them, basically, in my opinion, throughout the course of your relationship. If you smash that first project, it's going to put them at ease moving forward, and they're gonna even be more lenient and just more relaxed all around when they, and then the second, the third, you continue smashing, you continue going hard, but you never bobble that first project. You never late deliver the first project or even wait really to the point that they're asking for it. It's better to give little bits and pieces, little breadcrumbs along the way. It's better to get your initial sample in with the client on time from your own deadline, your own time frame that you set, then going beyond that, maybe giving them something that you feel a little bit better about. Trust me on that. You want to give them a couple different options, a couple different looks, let them give you some feedback, and then hone in. And allow time for those revisions. I include 3 rounds of revisions on every a la carte design project. It usually doesn't take that, but I include it. And then if we were to go beyond that, there would be something on my proposal that says it would be X amount at whatever sort of rate that it would be. So think about it like that. Make people feel comfortable by answering their questions preemptively. Pay attention to questions that people ask you as you're out there freelancing and what their concerns are, maybe why, some leads that you get that don't close. But by fielding all their questions super professionally, responding with that proposal, issuing a digital invoice, taking the payment, following through with samples, keeping their samples in a Dropbox or a Google Drive archive so everybody always has it, backups. That organization, that asset management, that attention to detail is huge for people. People don't do that. Like, a lot of graphic designers are sloppy and they're not business-minded people. So you need to give you the advantage of, like, I'm super on the ball, I'm super reliable. That's the first thing I tell everybody. I'm not the most talented person, but I am the most reliable. All my clients will tell you I'm super reliable. So for me, that's what I like to stand on, and I would encourage every freelancer out there to have the same attitude, because it's easy to get into a competitive kind of cocky thing about how sweet your skills are and how cool you are and all this and that, how big your Instagram is, but you can fall off, the tables can turn, all that can be just in the moment. What we're thinking about is a career, 10, 20, 30 years, long term, a 40, 50-year-old version of yourself, still being a professional artist. That's what I've been envisioning since I was 17, 18, and got out of high school and looked around and realized, like, oh my God, I can't live some 9-to-5 life. So we sign up for a different path, and it's not easy, but the universe, in my opinion, in my experience, favors faith, dedication, hard work, perseverance, all that. It might take 10, 12 years, but what's that to a whole career? So in conclusion, your worth is gonna come from your credentials, your experience, and your skills. And it's gonna be a balancing ebb and flow act all the way up to the point that you reach your finish line in your experience as a professional artist, whatever that may be. So this has been How to Close a Deal as a Graphic Artist with Drastic Graphics. Let me know if you have any questions.